safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's a big, bright, beautiful moon that is starting to go down as the day begins. It's also very misty and eerie out here. This is Safari Live. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our rather dark start to our sunrise safari. As you can see, it is a misty morning, and this is not in Kenya. Those are wildebeest from Djuma doing their little migration across Impala Plains. Now, my name is Tristan, and on camera today I've got Senzo, who's back from Kenya with me for the first time, so it's nice to catch up with him and hear all his stories about East Africa. Now remember, this is live, it is interactive, which means all of you are the most important part of this. So hashtag Safari Live on Twitter if you would like to get hold of us and ask any questions, or if you have any updates from the dam cam. I believe there were 2 male lions there last night at some point, so if there's been anything else that's been happening, you can let us know on hashtag Safari Live. Now, Senzo is the lion man, so we've come to the western side of Djuma to try and see if we can find any sign of the Nkuhuma pride. Also, yesterday I got an update that there was a Matimba male, of all things, in the west around Arathusa, so I've come this side just to see if we can't find some tracks. Now, it's difficult to find tracks because of how misty it is. As you can see, we can hardly see the wildebeest, and they're just in front of us crossing the road. There you can see them, just sort of dark shapes crossing. Now, Kirst says she thinks she can find more wildebeest than I can. Well, Kirst, I would imagine you'll find more wildebeest looking out of your tent window in 2 seconds than I would be able to find in the whole of the Sabi sands. So that's not too much of a competition, but Kirst, I reckon I'll be able to find more leopards than what you will up this side of the world, or down this side of the world. What are we, down or up? Down. We're south. That's what I think we're going to go for. Now, our wildebeest went scattering across the road, so I'm going to try and see if I can't see what's caused them to go running all of a sudden. Of course, the spotlight is pretty much useless at this point. I can't see more than about, I would say, 40 meters into the bush, so the lights themselves are actually more of a hindrance than they are an advantage at this stage, but we'll use them anyway and just check around and see what we can find. I'm hoping that there will be tracks for the Nkuhuma pride somewhere here now, and that they will be back on this side. I haven't seen the Nkuhuma pride and I don't even know how long, so it'll be really nice to catch up with them. Now, there is somebody else that is out here who's had more than enough luck when it's come to the tawny coloured cats, but hasn't had too much luck with the spotted cat. So let's go across to Tara so she can say good morning, and hopefully this is the day for her to find some spots.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome on board this morning. And it is so true. We have had the luck with the lions, but so far the elusive cat is still being elusive for me. Although I know everybody had a wonderful sighting of Tamba last night. So very jealous of that. Oh, hello, scrub hair. You're playing chicken in the road. Here we go. Yeah, you don't want to be out too much longer, buddy. So welcome on board this morning. My name's Tara. Joining me on camera this morning is Craig, and I'm hoping this is going to be a drive full of spots. I am so hoping. It'll be amazing to catch up with them. So I've still got a week left, so there still is some time, so I am still hopeful. But oh, you're going to come and investigate. Hello. How's that? Yeah, you do well. I think it is definitely time to head to bed, little one. So we're heading down towards Twin Dams. Me and Tristan were having a chat last night, and it sounds like there's been a lot of leopard activity just to the south of there as well. So I'm hoping that is the hot spot to be. And Craig just told me that he heard hyenas laughing last night around the little Galago pan. So I'm wondering if the little female I do think she was utilising the drainage line around there. So I'm hoping that maybe she might have popped out. Fingers crossed as well. I think Tristan's going to be up in the north, so hopefully we've got this whole area covered. So I think we're going to head over to the Mara and see what they've got for you this morning. I've got another little, this baby scrub hair. There he goes.
From a very misty Sabi sands right across to quite a hazy Mara, a very warm welcome, and I hope you're enjoying your live safari from 2 different African countries. My name is Jamie. This morning Viam is on camera with me. Viam, of course, having had a very interesting evening trundling around the Mara. I was safely tucked away in my bed, and we are heading out to see what is happening with the migration. There we go, there's the start of it. Let me just make sure there's no one behind me. I'm patiently waiting to travel along. Good morning, Gnus. Oh, apparently Tristan has found more wildebeest than me. I doubt it. Lou only saw the ones in the front. I doubt Tristan has found more wildebeest than me. Yep, there's a car coming. Sorry. Gotta move up. I'm on the main road. I will get off the main road as soon as possible. Oh, we've got 2 missions today. We've got several missions. Morning! They seem okay. I got 2 missions this morning. One, of course, is to find the migration. The other was because I received a very interesting message last night. Oh, thank you very much, by the way, for the compliments on my hat. Still need some adjustments because, of course, our microphones sit in our hat. And I'm not entirely sure I've come up with the best solution here, but we'll get there, we'll get there. We've got 2 missions. One is the migration, and the other is the message that I received last night, and that is that a female martial eagle there's a researcher around here who studies the martial eagles. His name is Stratton, and he has transmitters on several of the different eagles in this area. He knows where their nest sites are, and this particular female has been feeding off the same kill for 2 days just ahead of us, and we have been tasked with the mission of going to find out what it is she's eating. And of course it fits beautifully in with our plans of the migration story, because you never know, might be the first ever recorded martial wildebeest kill. I doubt it, but let's go find out what she's chowing. The hat, of course, works very well out here because the sun, it's a lot cooler here. It's deceptively strong, and you end up, my poor ears are now, I mean, they've always been freckled, but they now are just one big freckle. So I thought it was time to do a little change, so Brent bought me a new hat. And it does work much better for keeping my ears protected. Hello, Gnus. Look at this. There's wildebeest everywhere. I was having a chat with one of the local guides who tells me he's never seen wildebeest like this. Never, ever. Which I'm sure he says every year, but nevertheless, they are here. They are well and truly here. Morning. Let's get some GNU sound effects along with the balloons in the background. Nice time to just sit and enjoy the atmosphere. I may never ever be able to sleep again without the lullaby of the gluing of the wildebeest.
It's always the monotonous laughs.
It's like the monotonous larks. It's exactly like that. Where are we all off to? Neen, you say it is an amazing view of the gnus and the balloons. It is indeed. The views here are spectacular. You can't beat them. But we can't dawdle for too long looking at the scenery. We've got a mission. One is to find the martial eagle. The other is to go and find those young male lions, I think. James was with them last night. I was with them yesterday morning. And in fact, I was following them 2 weeks ago in the middle of the night before they managed to give me a slip. Hello, gnus. They are innately comic. animals. I don't know why, they just are. And then I think on our way home what we'll do is we'll check up and see whether or not we can find the Angamas. What the Angamas have done during the migration, as the wildebeest were moving through here, they parked themselves in the river system, and that was just where they stayed. They didn't need to move. They had water, protection, safe places for the cubs to hide from hyenas, and wildebeest just marching through constantly. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Or one of those sushi counters, maybe, that just revolves around and they can take their pick of what they wanted to eat. But I think they might have come out now, so we'll go and see if we can find them. Last week's TV show, the idea was to tell the story of the Angamas, and they vanished. Completely vanished. So I'm going to head across with a very definite mission in mind. I'm not sure what Tara's plan is, but let's find out from her.
Hi everybody, we've just had hyenas calling, so we're just trying to work out where they were calling from. Now it's a contact call, so it was the typical woo, woo, rather than the laughing call, which means that they're excited because they've got a kill. But still, it would be really nice to catch up with them, and I thought perhaps around here, or it could be around Twin Dams. So we're just on Mount. I'm wondering if they're in the process of moving into the termite mound again, because they will actually change den sites. And it's not really known why they might move their cubs from one den to another. It could be the threat of predators, so if they smell that predators have been around, they can move them. There is a debate as to whether there's a build-up of mites and ticks, and then they might move them from the den. But there doesn't seem to be any particular length of time that they'll spend at the den. Sometimes they seem to spend longer at a den site than others. But obviously the main reason for using the den is to keep the youngsters safe. And especially while the adults are away, the babies need to use the holes that go deep into the termite mound to keep out of sight of the predators. Now we might lose you a little bit through this dip. I'm hoping we won't. Just checking to see if there's any cat tracks. Oh, some more Franklin in the road. Excuse me. Hello. There we go. They seem to be a little bit lazy this morning, so let them take their time. The dawn chorus is starting up. We have the Franklins calling and the Cape turtle dove. Okay, we're coming up to the water. Oh, it's so exciting. And that's what I love about Safari Live. We have no idea what we're going to see. Every day is new, every day is special. And just hearing the hyena sends a excitement thrill down the back of my spine, I tell you. I heard it outside my bedroom window last night. I was thinking, oh, it would be amazing to hear them tomorrow morning. I say it was just a little bit faint to maybe pick up on camera, so we're going to switch off again around Gowrie, Main. Okay, I don't think the spotlight's doing much anymore. Okay, I'm just going to switch off just to make sure they're not just here. Good morning, Karen. Karen asking if hyenas stink. I've never actually smelled them, Karen. And we've actually had them like right next to the vehicle as well. And okay, my sense of smell is probably not the best. But I don't remember really smelling it. Have you ever smelt them, Craig? No. What does smell is the paste, but even from a spotted hyena, I've not smelt the paste. But from the brown hyena, oh, now that one stinks. And for some reason, a woman is not really able to smell it as well as a man. I've still got to dig out why that might be, but I have heard that on occasion. But for some reason, that smell really jumps out at me, and I can smell it 5 or 6 meters away, especially if the wind's in the right direction. And there's nothing I can really try and equate it to for you. I'll have to have a think, see if I can try and give you an idea of what it smells like, but it is very, very pungent, so it's that smells rather than the hyena. But I think we're going to carry on looking for these hyenas. We'll let you know if we do find them. In the meantime, we're going to head across to, I think, the Mara, and hope they have something there for you.
Vim, we do have something here. Just in answer to that, we still have thousands and thousands of wildebeest to look at, so there's plenty to see out here. I was just having a chuckle because Lou fed through that Tara was chatting about how hyenas smell, and Vim from the back pipes up and goes, with their noses, of course, which sounds very much like an old joke that my dad used to love. Wildebeest dashing up and down, and all of the sort of the rescue teams, not rescue teams, but the collection teams for the balloon have gathered together in the road in front of us. So I'm going to try and duck past them. They're just waiting to see, quite literally, which way the wind blows, so they know where to go and pick up the passengers from the balloon. It's an amazingly slick operation, the whole folding up and getting the balloon baskets on the back of the truck. I'm almost tempted to say let's go look for the sausages, but let's look for them on the way back. Morning! Morning! There we go. Past the initial rush. Yesterday was very muddy on this road, and I was racing back for some reason. I can't remember why I was racing. And the wildebeest had churned up the mud on either side, and I had no comms. As you know, yesterday morning sunrise safari, I was struggling a little bit. So I was looking at my phone, reading text messages as to what was happening, and I was going a little bit too fast to be doing both at the same time, and my wheel nicked the side of the mud, and we ended up doing a whole sideways trip along the road. Don't think Manu and Jandre were very impressed with me. I think they were a little bit terrified initially. It was fine. We were fine. Oh, Jandre said he enjoyed it. Okay, Jandre's watching in final control. It was just my back left nicked it, and then all of a sudden we were on it, sliding through the mud. Morning, wildebeest. Have you seen any lions? No. Justin, I tell you what, here we go. Justin would like to know if it would be possible to count every single wildebeest today. My instinctive answer is no. I'm not entirely sure it would be a productive use of our time, but let's tell you what, why don't you screenshot that, Justin, and do a head count quickly for all the wildebeest you can see. And that's a little group. It's one of the reasons why nobody actually knows exactly how many wildebeest migrate. There's a rough estimate. We know it's over 1 million. It's about 1.5 million. 2 million animals in total if you include the zebra and the Thompson's gazelle. I think your impression of the numbers can be garnered from the sound. The sheer sound effect. There you go. How many did you get, Justin? James, there's an interesting question. Is it necessary for the gnus to constantly vocalize? Obviously, they feel it is. We don't really know exactly what it is. We know that a lot of it is contact calling. Stef was saying yesterday that a lot of the time the wildebeest on one side of the river will respond to the calls of the others and they'll cross. It's the males calling to each other, advertising that they are the biggest, scariest looking wildebeest. But I don't think we fully know exactly why it is they gnu constantly. I understand mothers and offspring contacting each other. Jumbo. Because they do get separated on a regular basis, so that makes sense. And I guess the males are intimidating their rivals and attracting the females at the same time. And you'll find that there's a lot of romantic action during the migration. I mean, if you sit and watch the wildebeest herd for long enough, you will see at least one pair mating. So I guess it's all a combination of things, because it's not like they're going to lose each other. There will always be a wildebeest to find. Now, speaking of animals communicating, and this is a good place actually to start looking for the answer to Lev's question. Now, the question is, oh, sorry, Baba. Okay, so don't, hold on, Vim. This is not for sensitive viewers. This is a natural progression of the migration, unfortunately. I knew there was a hyena den here. Okay, for our sensitive viewers, just turn away for now. And I'll tell you when you can look again. Shame. Sorry, little cub. I saw this little cub dashing about not too long ago. With this many wildebeest around, distracting them. Easy target for lions. And I would almost guarantee that was a lion death. That was going to be my answer. I didn't particularly want to do it looking at a dead one, but I was going to say that other than primates, hyenas have a very, very sophisticated social communication system. So essentially, they've done tests into the way that hyenas communicate with each other. And what they did was they took two hyena, and they tested various species, but one of the others that they tested this on was chimps, and they put a piece of food up on a platform. And the only way to get the food down was for the individuals to work together by pulling the ropes in opposite directions. And the chimps immediately did it, they got it quickly. Hyenas took a little bit longer. Then what they did was they swapped out one animal that knew what to do for an animal that had never seen this puzzle before. And in 2 seconds, the hyenas had communicated how to get the meat, and they got the meat. So they do have a very sophisticated social system, social structure, and with that complexity comes a very sophisticated way of communicating with each other. But we don't know the half bit, I think. Having watched the way the lions coordinate their hunts, I would say that there's still a lot to learn. All of that visual cues, twitching of one ear. It's astounding to watch the way that they know exactly what to do. It's like some kind of pre-sports match game plan with the arrows and the way that they plan it all out. Okay. Sausages or young males? Both. We'll go look for both. I saw James's hunt yesterday with those two young males. I've been asking around as to which pride they used to belong to, and there is a suggestion, still not confirmed, but the 6 males that were wandering around when I first got here from the Paradise Pride, there's 4 young males off in the marsh and towards Little Governors and crossing the river backwards and forwards, and now there's 2 here. So it could well be that group of 6 is split for now. Oh, there's just wildebeest everywhere. Now we've just got to find some lions. Am I meandering too slowly? No. What you got there, Vim? Ah. Hyena racing off into the distance. I know that Tara was also searching for hyenas this morning. I wonder whether or not she's had any luck in the mist.
Thanks, Jamie. It's very misty this morning. Oh, the birds singing. Who sung it in the mist? Everybody, hashtag Safari Live, if you want to join in. Now this particular bird, when it's calling, can call for quite a long period of time when it's looking for a mate. But as soon as it's found a mate, that call will shrink to let the other barbets know. Oh, I've just given part of it away. Well, which one is it? Good morning, rise and shine, sunshine. But yes. Still want to know which one, but it will let the others know that it's now taken, and I've actually witnessed it. So it was calling for quite a long time, and then as soon as it mated, it just shortened that call. Really interesting. Hashtag Safari Live. Who sung it? Giving half the game away. So we've just gone up to Cheetah Cut Line, where I thought maybe that's where they were calling from, and the hyena den. There's no movement around there, so we're going to head back towards Twin Dams. I'm hoping maybe they'll pop out from there, but the sun is rising, and I'm hoping we might actually get a nice view of it through the mist. You usually get that beautiful blood red colour if it's got a filter like the mist, which would be absolutely stunning to see. But it is getting nice and light now, so the hyena should be heading towards where they're going to settle down for the day. I'm just going to switch off again, see if we can hear any more contact calls. And what they do when they do make the contact call, they actually call into the ground, so it amplifies the sound. And things like lions as well will often do this, and even birds. So it just amplifies the sound so it can carry much further. Oh, we got Franklin on the road again. Are you picking up that soft call it's making? It's like a... So when they're actually moving as a family, they'll, especially through that very tall grass, they'll actually make contact calls just so they can keep tabs of where they are, but they're usually very quiet. And then you get that call, just to let all the other Franklins in the area know, we're here, we have survived the night, don't bother coming and taking over our territory. But then they'll go back to that, and it's quite normal to get the family or the group of birds doing that, and you even hear the guinea fowl do that as well. It's very, very soft, but just keeping tabs on where each other is. Now I'm just going to move out the way. I think there's a car coming up behind us. Not hearing any more from the hyenas over here. So there's a question coming through about dens, and if females, the high-ranking female will use a den solely for her. Just missed who that came from. Just going to pull over here. Michael. Morning to you, Michael. Welcome on board this morning. And Michael asking about the high-ranking females. Now, it can be that the high-ranking female does use the den for herself. Sometimes you can get other females utilising the den as well. But what's really interesting is they will not nurse each other's cubs. It just won't happen. There is so much competition going on with the hyenas. Even though they're quite happy to be a family and they'll even hunt as a group, but they will not suckle the other cubs. And that's really interesting. Even though they would actually be related, it's just not done. It's really interesting. Whereas with the lions, they'll suckle each other's cubs, and even elephants will suckle each other's calves, but in the hyena world, it just doesn't happen. So I think we're going to see what's going on in the Mara again, and hopefully we'll find something else for you.
Well, we're just busy admiring the view of the sun. So through the sticks the sun is now coming up, which means hopefully it will start to get a little bit warmer, because it is absolutely freezing this morning and it's wet and sort of damp from all the mist that's been around. So nice to see that big orange ball of sort of warmth that's going to come up over the eastern horizon and hopefully warm everything up. I would imagine we're going to have a beautiful day because there's not a cloud in the sky. Once the mist lifts, it's going to be fantastic. But other than that, unfortunately no sign of the Nkuhuma pride coming back to us. They seem to still be somewhere on Arethusa. Also no sign of that Matimba male coming back, so now I'm just slowly working my way northwards. I'm going to go check on the hyena den. I think since we've been chatting about all things hyena this morning, we'll try and see if we can't get to the den and see if there isn't any activity that side. I believe that the two male lions that we had yesterday, well Tara had yesterday, are somewhere on Buffel's Hook now. They've just found them about a minute ago, and it sounds like they are north of the boundary at a place called Big Dam, so that's where they've gone to, which means that we'll have to readjust our sort of search. I don't think tawny cats are going to work for us this morning, so we're going to go check on the hyena den, and then we're going to go and look for any little thing that we can find. Now I believe Rex is calling me on the radio. Go ahead, Rex. Okay, copy. I'll let Tara know, thank you. So there we go. There's some good news for Tara. It sounds like there's a spotted cat somewhere lurking around Cheetah Cutline area, which is fantastic news. So hopefully Tara can get there and see if she can find it. I don't know if they have found the animal or if it's tracks, but Rexon just gave me the update now, so I'm hoping for Tara's sake that there is a leopard there and she can break her leopard drought that she's had the last few days. We were having a good chat to Tara last night. It's So, Chitty Chatty Meg, sorry, I didn't get all of it. It broke up a little bit, but I think I got the gist of it. As you were asking about the Matimba male and him being down here, and why is he here and why is he outside of his territory. I think that's the gist of the question, is if I did hear it right. There was a bit of a break up there. But basically, the Matimba males, there were two of them that used to be dominant in this particular section. So they were males that looked after the Nkuhuma pride and the sticks and basically filled the same area that the Birminghams did. And so they spent a lot of time in this area. And they then got ousted by the Birminghams just from a numerical point of view. It was 5 against 2, and so they shifted off into Londolozi. When they got to Londolozi, they spent a lot of time there, and from there they were sort of quite settled until the Majingalans and another set of males came in, and they then pushed the Matimbas back north. The Matimbas then went into Manyaleti, and they've been camping around the southern Manyaleti, a little bit into the Kruger Park. They've been spending time around Hamilton's, Hoyo Hoyo in the Kruger Park area. And so what's probably happened is they might have run into other males, and that's caused them to separate and shift out, and we've now ended up with one coming back this way just to see if he can't sort of get away from the other males. So it might be that he's heard other males roaring and this was just the safest path that he could take to get away from that. I don't know, but it will be interesting to see where he went from last night, because last night he wasn't too far from the Nkuhuma Pride, and I'm hoping that he didn't actually meet up with him, because ultimately those cubs, even though they're getting bigger now, are still not his, and there is a potential that he might go after those cubs and try and chase them off. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Birmingham's response is. Whether or not that Matimba roared last night is debatable. I don't know if he did, but if he did, he's asking for trouble, because he's going to get not only the Birminghams from this northern side, but he's going to get the Majingalans on the western side of him riled up as well, and they might come in and chase him. So it's playing a dangerous game by being in this area. It's probably much better for him to try and get back and try and find his brother and be able to then stick around with him, or not brother but his coalition partner, and try and stay that side rather than coming this way. There's far too many male lions here for an older aging male to look after himself. But the male lion dynamic lately has been really interesting. There's been a lot of movement, particularly in the south of the reserve. It seems like there's males going in and out all the time there, and I wonder if we're not going to see a shift of one of those groups of males coming up north. It will be interesting, because the Birminghams as yet have really gone unchallenged. They haven't had to really kind of compete for their territory, and since they've become dominant, no one's really tested them in any way. So it'll be interesting if maybe the 3 Solala males or some of the other males that are down in the south started to come up this way, what would actually happen, and whether the Birminghams would start to stick together a lot more than what they do now. Now we see them, they go one here, one there, 2 in places, but very seldom do we see all 4 of them together. And it would be really quite interesting if we had other male lions push in here that were intent on taking this area, whether those Birminghams would start to come together, or if they would then get caught short and get picked off one by one, much like what happened to the Mapojos. The Mapojos had such a large area that unfortunately they split apart and they then got hammered one by one. So I would imagine that the Birminghams would have to be a little bit more clever and be more like the Majingalans and stay together as much as possible. Now, I was saying that there was this update about the spotted cat, so let's go across to Tara and see what the update is and what actually is going on.
Everybody, so yeah, we just managed to get a bit of an update. Someone had tracks crossing over Gary Main heading towards Chitwa line, so I might just not have gone up Chitwa line, so I'm going to try there. Apparently Hosana is on a kill somewhere to the south. I'm just trying to find out if that is just within our reach, so I'm going to try and get hold of people on the radio, but the radio is a little bit scratchy down this side. I'm going to try once we reach Chitwa Cut line and just see if we can get a slightly better signal there, and try and see if we can actually go to where Hosana is. But while I'm doing that, I'll just have another look for some leopard tracks a bit further up on Chitwa Cut line, just in case the leopard is there. It was funny actually, because I was really expecting to see Impala or something that side, because I'm sure I heard them. Just missed who that was from, but we can... Caitlin! Good morning, Caitlin. How are you this morning? I hope you're enjoying the live safari here from South Africa and the Mara. Still absolutely amazing. Blows my mind that we can just switch between the 2 countries live. Absolutely amazing. But you'd like to know if we've ever had lions or leopard in camp, and yes we have. And I was lucky enough to see a leopard mating right outside my room in camp. Good morning. How are you this morning? Hello. Hello. Who's on lock? Andries. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. I'll go and go. Thank you. Okay, so apparently there is somebody with Hosana, so I'm going to see if I can actually try and call him. So while I'm doing that, we will pop across, I think, to Tristan, but I shall then give you a little bit more detail about the encounter with Karula when you come back. I can see the sun is rising. Look at that. Look at that. Sun rising in Africa. Oh, beautiful. It's all going on this morning. See, we have no idea what's going to happen, and suddenly you just come around the corner and you just met with a spectacular sight like that. And I think Tristan has a hornbill for you, so while you enjoy the hornbill's antics, we will try and give you an update on the leopard for you.
Well, our hornbill unfortunately is disappearing behind the thickets, so I don't think we're going to be able to find it again. There was a ground hornbill. You can see it just moving there behind the trees and branches and twigs. And it's interesting because it's by itself. There's no other hornbills that I can see. Generally, ground hornbills are in small groupings together, so quite strange to see one by itself. And it seems to be looking in all the trees, which is really odd. Normally, you'll find hornbills will look down on the ground and they'll try and see if they can't spot any prey items that might be crawling around in amongst the leaf litter and the grasses. But this hornbill keeps looking up into the trees itself, and I don't know if maybe there's some sort of a food source that it's learned to get out of trees. You never know. Maybe in cold weather like this, they're able to find varying reptiles, and they are able to pick them out from the trees when the reptiles are cold and are not moving too much. Maybe that's what it's looking for. Lou, you reckon they're looking for, well, it's looking for its friends. Now, it looks like a male, so maybe he has lost his female companion and unfortunately is now trying to find her. You see, he keeps sort of glancing up into the trees as it goes. Now, the reason why I say it's a male, I'm trying to see nicely, but males have that completely red facial skin, whereas the female will get a little bleeding of purple that will come in underneath the bill itself. What are you looking for up in the trees? There we go. You see, he keeps kind of staring up there. It's very strange behavior. I've never actually seen them do this. I'm going to try and reverse back, Senzo. Let's see if we can't get ourselves into a better position. Looks as though it's coming back towards the road, so we might be able to see it a little bit better from further back. But these guys are always so special to see, even if it's just the one like this. They are not a bird that is sort of growing in numbers, and they're not the most common bird, so whenever we get a chance to see them, it really is a special sighting. So it's just moving through there we go. What have you spotted up in that tree? Like I say, I wonder if it's worked out that there's certain food sources when it's misty like this that they can find in the trees itself. It would be quite cool to watch and see if he does find anything, because he's definitely intent on looking up all the time, and he seems to only look at the really big, well, not big trees, but the larger trees. He's not really looking too much in these small spindly ones. Justin, you say maybe he's admiring all the trees. Well, yes, maybe he's admiring his landscape and his home, just checking up, making sure everything's okay and that the elephants haven't done too much damage to his garden. It could be that. But where's he gone now? There he is, behind the tree. So it's amazing actually how they disappear. For being such a large bird, you would think that it would be easy to keep sort of track of them, but once they get into the grass like that, it is almost impossible to see them. Hopefully it's going to come through onto the other side of that thicket. I've lost track of it now. Well, that was a good surprise anyway. It was really nice to see our ground hornbill. And like I say, they're not a common sight for us. We see them every now and then, and there's been a group that's been hanging around. But I wonder where this one comes from. Maybe it's a new bird in the area. Maybe he's distributed from another flock. And that would be really cool if we start to see a different flock starting to form in this area. I would be very thankful if we did, because they are quite entertaining birds and they always get up to something. Now, Tara was saying that there is a beautiful sunrise, and she's absolutely right. It is very pretty over to this side. You can see it's just coming up there, and I'm quite thankful for the sunrise. Actually, we might as well stop and enjoy that, so you can see how that mist layer has lifted, well, the clouds have lifted, and the sun is now just below that, so really very pretty. Now, I believe Jamie has inserted herself right in amongst the migration, so while we admire the sunrise and warm up, let's go across to her and see how it's going.
It's going wonderfully, but what's absolutely astounding is how things change from day to day. Because I did a big loop while I was waiting for Gendre and Manu yesterday morning to land out of the hot air balloon. And I did a big loop all around here, and the migration only really was from here onwards. But now if I look down towards the river, although it's difficult now, I've come down off the ridge. If I look across towards the river, there are just hundreds of thousands of wildebeest. Surely, those young males must have had some luck. So this is close to where they were. This is exactly where they were actually yesterday morning. I'm not 100% sure where James left them last night. But that is my plan. Let's see if we can find them. There's quite a few vehicles over there. I wonder if they're waiting for the balloon or if they've seen something. Nope, they're waiting for the balloon. Right, so there's probably no lions here. I'm going to hazard a guess and say they're probably not here. This is where they were hunting zebra yesterday. Hello. Good morning. Have you seen a lion? Nah. Look how light that zebra foal is compared to the others. I mean, I know it's just the way that the sun is catching the light, but it looks like a little brown version. Dare to be different, eh? Really is quite brown. Oh, all foals are slightly lighter in colour than the black. But that one is really pale, actually. Let's just go a bit closer. It's quite unique. Brent saw a leucistic zebra not so long ago. This is not leucistic, but it is much lighter than the others. Oh, of course you go and hide. It's okay. We don't mind that you're different. Different's good. Different's cool. Pretty creature. And look how brown it is.
After this, can we go a little bit backwards? I just want to check that termite mound.
Yes, with pleasure. Ben would like to know, after we've looked at the unique zebra, if we can go a bit further backwards so he can check a termite mound. It's like a shiny Pokemon. It's the nerdiest thing I've said in a long time. Okay, let's go back a bit. Or forward a little bit. Okay. What should you prefer? Forwards. Okay. What have you spotted? Another termite mound. You never know. The lions like to hide behind termite mounds. They were here. Okay, bye-bye, special zebra. You're so pretty and I don't have my camera. Well, I hope you got some screenshots of the brown zebra. Good morning to 15-year-old Kobe, who's one of our regular viewers. You want to know how many zebra cross the Mara on a daily basis. I can tell you that there's a couple of 100,000 of them that participate in the migration. Speaking of zebra, come on, off you go. Which way are we going? It's chaos here in the middle of the road. Kobe, you're looking at between, depending on which literature you read, between around about 250 to 500,000 zebra will participate in the migration. They don't move all the way, or I suppose you could say they move across the Mara every day. They're wandering through, at least. Obviously, they'll stick within their herds, and they'll move small distances day by day, sometimes large distances as well. And I'm actually, in hindsight, I wish that I'd appreciated the beginning of the migration more than I did. Not that I didn't, but I wish that I'd taken more pictures of just the zebra when they first arrived, because of course they usually lead the way. And I mean, there's the whole story of the fact that they eat the longer grass and the wildebeest prefer the shorter grass, but really the zebra just tend to arrive first. They're not bothered by mixing together with the wildebeest either. Now, those are the sorts of numbers that you're looking at when you compare it to the roundabout 1.2 to 1.5 million wildebeest. So there are just more wildebeest. Right. Okay, so VM's saying that the lions were here last night. This is where I had, close to where I had them this morning. Surely, even with their ineptitude when it comes to hunting, surely they must have caught something last night. I mean, really. There's so many animals here. Let me just do a proper check. Hello, little one. Well done for surviving the Mara crossing. Oh, some zebra kicking in the front as well. Right, you lot. Now what? What is that in the bush there, Viam? That tawny coloured thing, is that a termite mound? Oh, Impala. William, I thought it was a lion. It's a lion, Impala. I wonder if wildebeest ever make that mistake. Sorry, William, you'd like to know if there are any albino zebra. I know you get leucistic zebra. You probably do get albino zebra as well. The likelihood of that genetic line being passed on out here is very slim, because an albino animal, there's a reason it's so rare out here. An albino animal lacking any pigment, red-eyed, ultimately means that poor animal is so, first of all, it sticks out very clearly, which makes it an obvious target for predators. And then secondly, the skin is so sensitive to the sun that they have major skin problems. Girls, me, and eye problems as well. There's a reason why most animals out here, oh goodness, alright, don't panic. And of course, we all know we have to give way at a zebra crossing, so while we do that, let's go to Tristan, who once again I'm sure is going to be putting his skills to use at finding spotted cats.
Now, it's very exciting news is that I got a message from somebody saying that they had just seen a male leopard somewhere here. Now, we weren't far at all, so we came quickly to come and check, and so far I can't see anything yet, but they did say it was somewhere on the Djuma side, walking slowly northward, so I'm just having a little look, and I would imagine it must be Mvula or Tingana, one of the two of them, if it's in the area that we're in. We're just south of the gates, and we were here this morning, but in that thick mist, it's very possible we just drove straight past this leopard, so I'm just having a little scout out to see, making sure that we haven't maybe driven past him, but they did say 500 meters south of the gate, so that would be about where we are now. Hopefully we'll be able to spot this leopard still walking somewhere here. It would be really nice if he is out on the road, or at least just next to the road out in the open, because that would certainly make life a lot easier. But I don't see any signs of any tracks yet. Those are for hyenas. So if we get nothing from this junction over here, we're going to turn around and go and just check the northern boundary and make sure that our leopard hasn't crossed up towards Sydney's Dam, because if it is Mvula, we know he likes to head in that direction. So we're going to go and check there if there's nothing on this side. It is relatively open here, so if he is walking along, we should be able to see him. Now there's a path that comes out here. No, nothing there. Alright, well, we're going to have to turn around because there's nothing here that I can see. So actually just want to see quickly what's on the road down there. Nope, that's just a bush, so that's not going to help us. But it's exciting news. At least it sounds like the spots are out. So between Tara looking for Hosana or one of those smaller young males to us having a big male up here, hopefully between the two of us we'll be able to at least find one of these cats. They can be a little bit elusive, so it would be nice if we are able to find one. And that's why I'm kind of scanning around so much, because they did say it was on the Djuma side, and he could be anywhere. There's a few sort of termite mounds and guarri thickets that he might be walking in. So I'm going to try and just see if I can't find some sort of tracks to at least give me an idea of where exactly he would have gone from here. Now, unfortunately, the guy that spotted it was actually taking his child to school. So it was Stef from Chitwa, and he was on his way to school, and he quickly just sent me a message to say that there was this leopard walking around here, and he just left it about 5 minutes or so. But we know with leopards that 5 minutes, they can be quite sneaky and they can end up moving away. Now, while I try and see if I can't get some sort of view or find this particular individual that was walking around here, let's go across to Tara and see if she's had more luck than I have.
Well, I think we have a leopard to go to, but as I say, I'm not overly familiar with the traversing on the Chitwa side, so I'm hoping that we have followed the instructions to the letter. Keep your fingers crossed. So we've got the Chitwa Dam here on the left. Now, when the guys brought me down to the dam the other day, we actually went a bit further along and then came down, so that's what I think confused me a little bit. But we're going to be going over the wall, and I believe we should be able to see the vehicles after we come off the wall, as I understand it. So fingers crossed we've got the instructions right. So as we drive, oh, fish eagle! I'm sorry, we've got to see a fish eagle. That is one of the best sights in the African bush, and the sounds of a fish eagle. Look at that. First fish eagle since I've been in the country, or been back in the country. Absolutely beautiful. What a glorious morning. And I really wish I could imitate it. It's just such a beautiful call, and I will not do it justice. So here we go. So as we try and find Hosana and his kill, then I shall tell you a little bit more about my encounter with Kruger. So Kruger used to come through camp quite a lot, and she would actually take towels off the line and play with them, as would her cubs. Go ahead. Okay, copy. I'm on the dam wall at the moment, so if you need a little bit more time, I can stand by. Copy that, thank you. Just to check, I'm coming right off the dam wall and just following the road round to the dip. Copy that, thank you so much. Apparently straight over the dam wall, yeah. Just getting the update there. And apparently around the back here somewhere. Fingers crossed. So we're just going to be looking out for the vehicles, and hopefully we'll find them. Just to confirm, I should have the lodge on my left and the mast. Okay, I'm just coming past the mast now. Should I have gone right off the dam wall? Okay, copy. Sorry, I thought you said go straight on off the dam wall. Okay. Okay. Copy that, thank you. Sorry, I misunderstood, so you were right. Going right off the dam wall. Alright, so as we try and find the vehicles in the bush, I say I'm not familiar with this property at all, so all the excitement of the African bush is part of the adventure getting lost. But Karula, she actually coughed just outside my bedroom window one night, and I thought it was the lions. We'd had the lions in the area, and I thought, oh, lions are in camp. They might have walked up between me and the garage, and I looked out the window at the front, couldn't see them. I thought, oh, they must have walked off past the garage already. And I thought, let me just check the window. And I looked through the window, and literally, as I looked through the window, Karula walked out into the moonlit patch about 4 meters away from my bedroom window. Yambili Ordan, her mate of choice, actually crept up behind her, covered her. She then turned around and swiped at him. He stood up in quite a shock. She then glared straight at me. I thought I was watching them in secret, but she glared straight at me, stood up and walked off. And the whole thing maybe lasted a minute or so. Absolutely incredible. My one and only sighting of leopard mating. Now we might lose signal through this dip here, so we're going to go across to Tristan, see if he's had any luck with his spotted cats, while we try and catch up with ours. Fingers crossed.
Well, unfortunately not. No luck for us. We're just driving now slowly along. I even checked a little bit inside between the two roads, but it's not really a big area, so I'm quite surprised that we haven't found any sign of this leopard. Maybe he's lying flat somewhere, stalking a potential prey item, and that's why we've just sort of overlooked him. I'm trying to see if I can't find any tracks. The nice thing is that there's no tracks that are going north, which means that he must still be somewhere here. Of course, he could have crossed that way. There's a little steenbok going over the road, trotting over quickly. So he could have gone back into towards Simbambili, but we would have found tracks somewhere of him crossing back over, and I can't see any tracks at this stage of a male leopard crossing this road, which could mean that he's still somewhere here, just lying down. So Senzo and I are looking as carefully as we can and trying to just see if we can't spot a flash of that little white tail twitching, as we see with leopards. Often when they are stalking something, they'll have that tail twitching a little bit. So that's what I'm trying and hoping that we're going to see, but so far no luck, unfortunately. And like I say, I can't even find tracks of this particular individual. The thing is that the person that gave us the update is somebody that I know wouldn't have made a mistake, and he would have known that it was a leopard, so it definitely is one here. It's just now a matter of actually finding it and trying to see where it's gone. If we can pick up tracks, then I'm pretty sure we should be able to find this individual fairly quickly from there. But I've checked all of this area. We checked on the other side. There was no sign of any tracks coming out onto the Vuyatela access side. So it means he's got to be here somewhere. And like I say, maybe he's just gone quickly over into Simbambili. So I'll have to just make it double sure. And that's why I'm sort of going as slow as we're going, is just to try and see if he's not somewhere here. Dear Watcher, you're asking if there are any birds alarming. There aren't, which is quite strange. I did switch off just now and listen. No birds alarming. There was this little steenbok that trotted over. There was also 2 duiker earlier when I came here that were trotting around. So it's potentially maybe that he's hunting some of those, and he's just been lying flat. The grass color at the moment is perfect for a leopard to be able to hide. And I can see where they actually have graded the road. So if he had walked on this road, we should be able to see his tracks really easily. So I'm surprised that I can't find any sign of him, and I'm trying to find where the other vehicle, the vehicle that guy was driving, maybe had pulled to the side slightly, but I don't see any sign of that either. I wonder. He also said it was moving, so obviously that makes life a little bit more tricky, because if things are moving, they then tend to fly if they are spotted cats for some reason. So ML, you say he's probably laughing as he watches me drive by. Oh, I'm sure he is. It's a typical leopard trait, is to sit and just watch what's going on and watch you kind of go. But you can see here there's a tire track on my left-hand side that came up onto the verge there. So I think this must be close to where they must have seen him. So maybe it's worth just going in here and having a little look around and just checking if he's not lying under one of these bushes somewhere here. There's also a few big trees. So I might just go in from this side and have a little look and just check. Sometimes happens that these guys change direction as well, so they might, instead of going northwards, he might have turned and gone further to the east or something like that. So now I just want to have a little look, and there's lots of little bushes here that it could easily be hiding underneath, so it's worth us just having a closer inspection as to what's going on here. Now I believe Jamie is we're not going to go to Jamie, because Jamie has a gremlin problem, which is fine. Come on, Kitty, where are you? I wonder where he could have gone from here. Like I say, it's so open. If he was walking, we should be able to have seen him fairly easily. It's not exactly the thickest area, although, like we say with leopards, they have a knack of being able to hide in plain sight. So I wonder if he's not just sitting somewhere in this area. So Jamie has used her fancy hat and has charmed the gremlins to leave her alone, and she's with probably one of my most favorite trees that unfortunately we don't see too much of here at Djuma.
There's only one that I know of on Djuma, but there are plenty around here, and the one at Djuma doesn't produce fruits quite like this one. So Bobby, this is for you. You wanted to see a sausage tree. There you go. It's not too difficult to see why it is called a sausage tree, because they look like giant salamis or something along those lines. Here's a little bit of advice for you. For those of you that do come and travel to Africa, don't park under a sausage tree, because every now and again those things come loose and they are heavy and they will dent your car, and quite possibly, I suppose, if you're really unlucky, they will concuss you. Now there you go, Bobby, and many others actually wanted to see a sausage tree. Let's go closer. I can see a fruit on the ground, so whilst I am not allowed technically to alight from my vehicle, I will be able to lean down and pick it up and then put it back again, just to show you what a sausage fruit looks like. I'm going to break my rule and go and park under it. Vim, how sturdy do you think the roof is? Do you think it'll survive a sausage tree landing? I hope not. I don't think this roof will survive. I think we'd be in big trouble. Okay, there's quite a few sausage fruits on the ground. That's a comforting thought as we head underneath it. Yeah, please don't fall on me. Oh, there's all tiny ones. There's a big one. I can't position myself such that I can reach it. So, Vim, if you can have a look at the view. There we go. Okay, there's a sausage fruit. Here we go. That is what a sausage fruit looks like. And just to give you there is a Monty Python sketch in this somewhere. Are there any lions around me? No. This is technically a picnic tree. What do you think, Vim? Technically a picnic tree? It's got a mowed area around it. It's a picnic tree. Definitely a picnic tree. In fact, I'm pretty certain on the map I've seen that it's a picnic tree. Sorry, hold on 1 second, Lou. I'm just, we'll just have a look at the view, shall we, Vim? That view, over there. There we go, perfect. I want to give you a sense of scale. I thought we were still looking at the view. It's really heavy. Stay there. Hold on a minute. I'll talk about the sausage fruit in a moment, but I appear to have discarded my earpiece with alarming willingness. There you go, back into my ear you go. There, now I can hear Lou. Sausage tree fruit. It's enormous, huh? It is meter long, would you say, Wiem? And it weighs, if I had to guess, you can see where it's cracking open. It weighs probably somewhere in the region of, I would guess, 12 kilograms? No, more. No, that's about 12. So what's that, 24 pounds? Yeah. Ooh. There's all kinds of things on it. I was going to try and break it open so you can see the fruit inside, because we have a question from, who was that? Sorry, Lou, I missed it. Deer Watcher. Deer Watcher, you want to know if you can eat the fruit. Apparently you can. I've never eaten it before. It looks like a squash. There, that's probably... Oh, goodness, there's so many insects coming out of here. There you go. Exquisite bliss. I don't know if it tastes like sausage. I have never eaten one. I don't think it tastes like salami. That much I would guess. I'm just trying to remember with 100% confirmation, because there's one fruit out here that you can't eat unless it's cooked. And I can't remember which one it is. And therefore, I'm reluctant to taste this one in case I die or become very ill. But there you go. That is the sausage fruit. Let me just double check on my information about, before you all go off and eat sausage fruits, because I know you have easy access to them. Let's just double check exactly how edible it is. Oh my goodness. Oh, I broke it. Well, there you go. Fruit, sausage tree, fruit. Grow more beautiful trees. I was hoping that perhaps there might be a leopard in it, but there isn't. I think it's time to move on from the sausage tree. What do you think? I think it's time to move on from the sausage tree before one of them lands on our heads. I can't get out. I'm trapped. There's rocks everywhere. The sausage tree has trapped me beneath its... Maybe it's all a plot. That's how it ensnares its victims. It is a beautiful tree, and they have the most beautiful red flowers when they do flower. The Nyala used to eat ours back at the camp I used to work at. Okay. Whoa! Was that a rock or a sausage tree fruit? Okay, while I escape the clutches of the sausage tree, it sounds like Stef is right up on the top of the mountain looking at what's happening at the crossings, and I'm sure you'd like to know.
Good morning, yes, and it is a very good morning here at the crossing so far. Right off the bat, we've got some giraffe. This is the Maasai giraffe, not the common giraffe that you'd most likely see at Djuma with Tristan and Taro this morning. These are the Maasai giraffe and only occur in this particular area. Slightly smaller than the common giraffe that you find down in South Africa, but they do occur in larger herds, and they've got a much more irregular pattern on their coats as well. Much sort of sharper edges. They don't have the blurred edges that you'd find. And then also, the males are not as big. Here's a big male there. And they are busy watching another giraffe on the other side of the river. Let me show you there. These are all males, young males, and that's why they're having the reaction that they are having. Let's see what this other giraffe is busy doing over here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Stef, and there was a giraffe there, but there is no more. Looks like he's moved on. Let's go back to our bachelor herd over here. They've obviously come down to the river for a bit of a drink. The chances of them crossing are fairly small, though. Tally-ho, four-legged, 16-headed, four-headed, 16-legged giraffe. It looks like that, hey. That is that is how their camouflage works. And in a nutshell, that's how zebra camouflage works. That's how leopard camouflage works. What it is, it breaks up the outline. It breaks up the profile of the animal. And that is a very important thing. Giraffe can and do become invisible. And what you're having a look at there on that skin pattern is the irregular light and dark and funny shaped patterns on their coats, absolutely making the edges blurred. This guy is having a look at the camera. Not quite sure if he's seeing the camera or if he's seeing something else. I'll be honest with you, these cameras are very well hidden and almost silent. Let's have a look here what's going on there. It gives us a brilliant view of that almost dragon-like neck of a giraffe. Isn't that just fantastic? Rebecca, you wanted to know if crocs ever try and eat giraffe. Rebecca, not that I've seen. I mean, I've never seen a giraffe cross a river, to be quite honest. I don't know if this giraffe is going to attempt crossing a river. They must cross rivers. A river like this, with its rocky bottom and holes in it, I mean, if a giraffe or wildebeest can't even find footing here, can you imagine what it's going to be like for a giraffe to cross? I would imagine difficult. They can swim. They do cross bodies of water. I've never seen it before. If we are going to witness something like that now, it's going to. There's that other giraffe. He's come out of the woodwork now. Other side of the river. I mean, this is dangerous territory for this giraffe, to be quite honest with you, because of the irregular footing. If he slips and falls, the chance of him getting a bit of whiplash and bashing his head onto a rock is very high, and he can do himself a lot of damage that way. They don't have the muscle structures in their necks capable of withstanding sudden and violent movements of the head. And so falling for them is a very big problem. Right, we're going to carry on looking at this giraffe. If they cross here, we'll call you back straight away, of course. And you're going to send you over to Tristan, who's got some out-of-season rain.
No, I've just located Mvula. It's just directly on the side of the road. Well, as you can see, we've managed to find our old warrior Mvula. So he's just crossed the road and he's now heading, unfortunately, into Simambili. So hopefully he's not going to stay there for too long. It looks as though he might head a little bit further northwards, but we'll still be able to keep visual of him. He's just gone behind this mound, but he's not gone far. He's just over there. Now, hopefully, like I say, he decides to turn and comes back onto the road itself. So we're going to try and see if I can't just turn around. No, don't go that way. So it seems as though he's just going to push further and deeper in. So we might just get a little glimpse of him, unfortunately. But even a glimpse is perfect when it comes to seeing this old chap. He's still looking fantastic, even though he's a little bit on the older side. He's done so well in the last few weeks and months. We've seen him with all kinds of different food items, and he still looks really healthy for an old lad. So he's now approaching 13 years old, which is for a male leopard really very old indeed. Now I'm going to try and turn around just so I can keep visual of him. Or actually, ML, you say he's looking cold and stiff. Well, I suppose he's allowed to look a little bit stiff. He is getting on in years, and well, if you're an older male leopard and you've gone through what he's gone through, it's okay to look a little bit on the stiff side. But there we go. It's just disappearing now, unfortunately. So there we go. He just goes through that section, and I would imagine from there that's going to be the end of that. We'll stick around for a little bit just to see in case he comes back towards our area, but I think that's going to be the last visuals we're going to get of him as he strides his way further towards One-Eyed Pan. One-Eyed Pan is just above us here, and it has a bit of water in it, and I'm sure that's where he's going to go and drink. So while we lose visual of Mvula, I believe that Tara has finally broken the drought on her side and is going to be with, I think, the young Hosana.
Oh, it feels so good to be sitting with spots again. I have indeed. A little bit of a wrong turn down into the drainage line just a little bit earlier, but we finally got into the right part of the drainage line to catch up with Hosana. And actually, the son of Mvula, who you've just seen with Tristan. I'm so glad Tristan actually managed to catch up with... Oh, is it in Ghana? Oh. I'll have to check my notes, because it's always really interesting to know who is related to who. But Tristan actually having two... Oh, we actually have quite an interesting crossing of the giraffes across the Mara. That would be really fantastic to see. So we're going to stay with our spots, and you can join some other spots making that crossing, and we'll stay right with Hosana and give you more of an update.
Have a look at this. We've got a giraffe sort of ankle deep, which is to you and I knee deep in the Mara River at the moment. We don't know if he's going to cross. I've never seen this behavior before. This is the first time I've seen it. It's the first time I've even seen a picture of a giraffe in this much water. Usually you just see them drinking. They must cross the river. I don't know anyone that's ever seen it before, but then we've only been in Kenya and I've only been around these types of rivers in a very short time. And let's see what's going on. They don't look scared of going into the water whatsoever. I mean, they don't look like they're tentatively sort of testing the depth. They don't look if they're too worried about any rocks. It's a difficult thing, to try and judge what's going to go on here. What are they going to do? I mean, if a giraffe falls and gets swept away by the current, how easy is it to keep their head up above the water? Will they be able to do it? Will they be able to find their footing? If they do, is the bank going to be climbable for them because they have such a high, small center of gravity? They run a massive risk crossing these rivers, and there's absolutely no need for it. There's just as many trees on this side of the river as there are on that side of the river. And they don't eat grass, and they don't be in competition with wildebeest. Now, Shamsung, you wanted to know if they actually swim across the river. I would assume so, Shamsung. Quite simply is that giraffe can swim. The only things that can't swim are white rhinoceros and a pangolin. And that is because their neck articulation doesn't allow them to lift their nose above horizontal. And so for them to get their noses out of the water is a difficult thing. But giraffe can certainly swim, and I think we are going to be seeing a swimming giraffe right now. This is definitely a first for me, everybody, and I mean, we're talking about 19 years of watching wildlife on a proper scale. And what we're seeing here is some Maasai giraffe crossing the Mara River in Kenya. Alrighty, welcome to this Facebook Live and Safari Live broadcast. Basically, what we've got here is one of the first things I've ever seen in my life, and that is some giraffe crossing the Mara River. This is in Kenya, of course, in the Mara Triangle Game Reserve, and what we've got here is 4 male Maasai giraffe standing just above ankle deep in the Mara River. Now, the reason why they're standing in the water and going across to the other side, or trying to go across to the other side, is because there's another male giraffe on that side of the river. And this is a first for me, everybody. This is in 19 years of field guiding and being part of these types of environments. I've never seen giraffe attempt a river crossing before. Just have a look at this. There is no reason why these giraffes should be going across. There's just as many trees on this side of the bank as there are on the others. Massive risk for these giraffes. They've got a very small, high center of gravity, not a lot of musculature in their neck. If they fall, they can quite easily bash their head on a rock. To keep their heads above the water is going to require massive effort, finding their feet, and of course, will the bank that they end up at be climbable? It's such a difficult thing to judge. Like I said, never seen this before. This is the first time I've ever seen giraffe attempt to cross a water body. Can they swim? Yes, of course they can swim. Do they swim? They must do. I mean, in these areas, how else did they get into parts of Africa? They must have swum across water bodies. Look at this, everyone. Lead giraffe, the tallest, biggest, oldest of all of them, going through first. Is he going to fall? Is he going to trip on a rock? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? I just don't understand. There's just no reason. Now that's probably waist deep for you and I. We can walk full length underneath the giraffe's tummy, so there by his front legs we'd be able to walk underneath that without touching our head. That's how big these giraffes are. Look at this youngster still trying to have a game. This is really, really amazing. See, a little tail coming up over there, a little bit of dung coming out. Louis, the trees are really greener on the other side. You're absolutely right there, Louis. That is the only, I don't know why these giraffes are going out. It is just a massive risk. It's too much for me. I'd never do it if I was this giraffe. You can see that back leg splayed of that front giraffe, that quite wide open front leg, is nervous. He wants to go. He's now halfway across. Giraffes aren't the most clever things on the face of the planet. I'm almost sure that these giraffes are committed. But the current is strong. It's been raining here a lot. David said they're probably crossing on a double dare. You know, 4 young boys together next to a drinking hole is an absolute recipe for disaster. And I think that's probably exactly what happened, is they're double daring each other to walk across this river. Of course, crocodile infested. We've watched crocodiles smash full-grown zebra, full-grown topi, full-grown wildebeest here, easily weighing 500 pounds, a prey item. These giraffes, of course, are in and around about the 3,000 pounds, way out of reach of a crocodile to actually try and take a snap at. But if one of them comes and falls and cannot get up, there's every reason to believe the crocodiles will move in. I've noticed that crocodiles are drawn to struggling. What are you doing? So now they're on the edge of where the current gets strongest. One going first, the dark one again. He strides out. No, still not. Chastity, you said you've never been so enthralled with a sighting. Myself either, Chastity. I'm sitting over here in sort of the Mara Migration Control Office in the top of, at the top of where our camp is at the moment. I'm glued to the screen. I don't know what's going on. You can see that they're a little bit more careful. Where are you going? There's nowhere downstream for you to cross, you silly things. Walk across. Now, obviously, as they get a bit deeper, the resistance of the water, or the resistance of their legs against the water, increases, and that will, of course, make footing for these very, very tall animals even more difficult. Still uncertain. Don't know what they're doing. Standing there, 4 boys within touching distance of one another, reassuring each other just with their presence. Like I said, if one of them falls, they don't have the muscle structure to stop their heads from whiplashing. It looks like they've made it. Nita, who's only 8 years old, wants to know why are the giraffe going so slowly. Nita, quite simply, if they fall here, they run the risk of drowning. Look at this, it looks like they've made it. Another couple of steps and they're across the Mara River. This is amazing. This is an incredible sighting, everybody. For those of you just joining us from all over the world, in almost 20 years of field guiding, I've never seen giraffe cross a river or any water body at all. They must do it. Of course, giraffe have populated many areas in Africa, but this is the first time we're watching it. They're doing it very slowly and very carefully. Incredibly tall animals, very small, high center of gravity. If they fall here, if they trip, to try and keep their head above the water will be a very difficult thing. To try and climb out and be washed downstream would be even more difficult, as they can't climb very well. They've got to make sure that they are heading towards these crossing points, and that's exactly what they've done. And can you believe it? Against all odds, they've made it. 4 young male giraffe. That is amazing. Otto, you wanted to know if animals pee in the river when they cross. I certainly would be peeing myself if I was crossing this river. Yes, they do. There's a lot of fear crossing these rivers, a lot of anxiety. You see it in the ears back. They just get attention about them, and I would imagine that would result in a loosening of the bowels and the bladder. The lead giraffe, the one now that's on the left-hand side, he had a bit of a moment just as he got to the deeper side where his bowels loosened a little bit, and that was, for me, what was giving the indication that he was a bit anxious. But look at that. First Mara River crossing of the Maasai giraffe that I've ever seen in my life, and we got it on camera for you and shared it with you. Done. And managed to cross. That is incredible. Thousands of animals die in this river. LMI, you just asked me, do crocodiles, I think, Lou, if you wouldn't mind just repeating that? Oh, hippos. Do hippos interact with giraffe? LMI, yes, I would imagine insofar as hippos interact with any other animal that comes down to the water's edge to drink. Are they friends with one another? Do they know each other on sight? I doubt it. Giraffe are highly sort of nomadic. You'll see giraffe for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and then they'll completely... There's the giraffe that was causing all the trouble. That's the one on the far right-hand side on the bank that was causing all these other giraffe to want to cross. That is amazing. Now look at them. Now it's also dangerous here on these rocks. If one of these giraffe misstep and fall, they run the risk of cracking their head open on these rocks. Of course, the rocks are where the trees are. The trees are what they've come for. The leaves growing on the trees actually are what they come for. But what is amazing is the fact that these giraffe are far more agile than what you'd ever give them credit for. I mean, it's honestly it's quite fascinating. Have a look at their hooves and the way that they place their feet on these rocks. You can see that it's like walking with giant sticks on the end of your legs. Very unstable, have to be very sure of what they do. Let's go back and go and see what the sort of interaction is between these giraffe and the other male, since now we've got one giraffe, the one that crossed, now striding off into the distance. He's decided, I called you on your dare, I made it across, and I'm going to carry on with my day. Isn't that just incredible? That is properly amazing. I'm really glad that we got to share that with all of you. I didn't know what was going to happen, to be honest. It looks like they wanted to cross. There's another giraffe on the other side. They had all the sort of body language of saying, I want to cross, I need to cross. They ventured tentatively into the water and then basically crossed. Really amazing. Absolutely incredible. All right, from this amazing crossing, we're going to be sending you all the way back down to Djuma and that sort of rainy, cloudy day over there to Hosana and that leopard cub.
Oh, that does sound absolutely amazing. And probably something that is not seen very often. Giraffes crossing the Mara River. Oh, Hosana, I think, is having quite a deep snooze now. I think I've seen him twitching a little bit, suggesting he might actually be dreaming. But I'm wondering if the viewers can help me out. So I might have got it wrong. It sounds like possibly Tingana was this little boy's father. So maybe some of the viewers who have been watching can help me out with that one and just confirm that with me. That would be great. Hashtag Safari Live if you also know and you haven't been watching for very long. It'd be great to hear from you. Now, it looks like he has made a kill, and the tree just behind him actually looked the most plausible for having a carcass in, and I couldn't see anything in there, and I thought, oh, maybe he's finished it off. But then sharp-eyed Craig happened to notice the leg in the tree. Make it out on your screens there. It really was quite a good spot. It doesn't seem to be much left up there. It looks like he has eaten the majority of it. There's a few scraps on the ground, but he's actually managed to put it into an umbrella thorn by the looks of it, which can't really be that comfortable. But there you go. Now I wonder if he actually does what his brother or his half-brother did. Now some of you might remember in Djuma, which was Karula's 3rd litter, so Hosana is Karula's 5th litter, and in Djuma you used to shift the carcasses around quite a lot and drop them out the tree, and we kind of thought, you know what, maybe he's just being messy and sort of just being a little bit of a brat, but actually he carried that on into his adulthood, and I wonder if it's because he didn't like sitting in the tree and feeding. Perhaps he felt more comfortable feeding off the ground.